Hey, it's Vaughn here. It's your jazzdrumschool.com YouTube channel. Aloha. Hope you're doing well. So I put up a survey on my YouTube channel a little bit ago asking y'all how much playing experience you have kind of every year. How much are you playing? And I got some really interesting responses, and most of you guys are really just kind of starting out or playing a few times a year, or maybe not even really playing at all yet. So I got to thinking, and I have a couple of things that I want to share with you that are going to help you get out there and play more. So the first thing I want to focus on is consistency in your playing. Now think of it first of all from the other angle. Imagine that you're playing on a gig and you're playing with a bass player, and the bass player starts playing do 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 do. It's going to make you crazy, right? So if we now bring it back home, we want to be the kind of drummer that is consistent in our playing so the other musicians will trust us. If the musicians trust us, that means they're going to call us. That means they're going to, or message us as we do these days, and that means we're going to get more gigs or more playing opportunities. So I want to help you with your consistency, and there are a couple things I want to help you with. One is the consistency in the spacing between the notes that you play on the drums. The other one is your tempo, the consistency in your tempo. Are you able to hold a tempo from the beginning of a song to the end of a song without speeding up too much and without slowing down too much? What I'm going to share with you now are a couple of different ways you can use a metronome that are going to radically improve your consistency on the drums. Now before you go, oh, metronome, this is a pretty cool way to do it. The first way is assigning the click to counts 2 and 4. The other way is assigning the click only to count 4. So let me start off with counts 2 and 4, and I'm going to play a couple of different grooves for you. I'm going to play swing, and I'm going to play bossa nova. Check it out. 1, 2, 1, So what's happening there is that I'm focused really on the notes that I'm playing, leading into counts 2 and 4. That kind of hyper attention to that detail forces me to really concentrate and lock in to what exactly it is I'm playing, and helps me to change or shift my playing a little bit and fix what I'm doing so that things line up more evenly. Now the swing was like a no-brainer. But when I shifted to the bossa nova, it was a little tricky because it was a totally different feel. So I encourage you when you practice this to actually mix it up with different kinds of feels so that you also get good moving in and out of different kinds of grooves. This is really an effective way to practice. And you might have noticed that when I started off with my bossa nova groove, it was a little bit wobbly, just a little bit. So as I went on, I was able to kind of clean it up and relax into it a little more, and my spacing evened out a little bit more too. Now the next way I want to show you is using the click on just count 4. Having it only on one count is going to force you to really focus on making sure that you're evening out your time leading into count 4. And it's going to really show any really kind of blatant issues or big problems you might have in your consistency. I'm going to do it again with the swing groove and then bossa nova. Check it out. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, All right, so I think you get the idea. Really effective. And what I often do when I go to gigs is I'll get all kind of set up for the gig, and then I'll start practicing. And what I practice is setting that click on count 4, and then I work on 3 different things. What I work on first is just playing time with various different grooves that I know I'm going to be playing that night on the gig. Then I work on playing some drum fills with it. And then the last thing I do is just work on playing kind of extended solos. I just kind of solo over the metronome, and it really helps to recalibrate my time, because sometimes I show up to the gig and I have a lot of energy and I might play a little bit on top of the beat, a little bit faster than the metronome. Sometimes I may show up and I'm really tired. I'll play a little bit behind the beat or a little behind the metronome. So it really helps to recalibrate my timing so that when I hit that downbeat note, that first note of the first tune of that night and on the gig, I'm there and I'm ready. So now I'm just going to play some swing for you, starting with the swing groove, then adding some fills, and finally doing some soloing using the click on count 4. Check it out. 1, 2, 1, So super effective, and I hope you'll give it a try. Now let's move on to the next thing I want to share with you. So to get out there and play, we've actually got to get out there, and we've got to meet other musicians. And I know that this is sometimes difficult to do, but nowadays we have a lot of different ways to do that, and I want to list a few of them for you. One of the first things that comes to mind that's really easy to do is to check online. Like if you do social media, there are usually some kind of groups that you can join, and sometimes you can connect with people that are in your geographic area in those groups. And what I encourage you to do is find like-minded groups, find like-minded musicians in these groups, and book some time at a local rehearsal studio and get together and jam and have some fun. When you go to the rehearsal studio, you're probably going to run into other musicians. So make sure you connect with those musicians too. Just take a listen. How are they doing? How are they playing in their rehearsal studio? You might find some other players you want to connect with, and you might kind of have like minds about the music you want to create. So rehearsal studios are places where a lot of musicians gather, so it's a great place to meet other musicians. Now, if you're still in high school or you're in college, you can obviously meet a lot of people that way too. You'll probably find some other musicians. You could probably some kind of after-school music club you can join, or maybe if you're already in music classes like band class, you can meet other musicians there. You can get together and kind of jam together after hours. That's another great way to connect, especially when you're younger. Now, if you have a house of worship you go to, like a church or something, there are lots of opportunities usually at these places to play music also. And you can also connect with musicians there and form your own kind of jam session or get together outside of your house of worship. Now, another way that I used to do a lot when I was growing up is go to local jam sessions, jazz jam sessions. Sit in, let the older musicians kind of help you learn some of those jazz drumming skills you want to learn. It's a great way to learn, and it's such a real environment where you get to actually practice your drumming skills. Now, if you don't have a jam session in your town, organize one. Do your own jam session. Hire a bass player, hire a guitarist or piano player. You be the house drummer, and you just invite other musicians to come. Heck, you could even just hire them to come to your house and play with you, all right? That's another way you can do it. Another way is you can go to your local music store. Go to where they sell guitars and keyboards and amps and things, and you can meet other musicians there. Talk to the sales staff. Ask them if they know anybody that's looking for a drummer. Put up a flyer at the local music store so they know that if somebody's looking for a drummer, they can call you. This is kind of like old school, but it still works. Now, if you live in a small town and maybe you don't have a large pool of musicians to play with, think about where is the next closest larger town and go there. See if you can meet musicians there. Maybe they have a jam session you can join. So I just encourage you to be creative and reach out to people and connect with people, because playing music is all about connections. Now, if you have other ways that have worked for you in connecting with other musicians and getting out there and playing and creating more playing opportunities for yourself, please drop a comment. We'd all like to read it, and maybe we can learn something from what you've done that might help others get out there and play too. So I hope the video was helpful, and thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel. Be sure to like the video if you like it. It helps to get around YouTube a lot easier, and drop that comment. Be sure to sign up for my email list. I send out an email 2 times a month with a 1-minute drum lesson, a free drum lesson that's going to help you improve your jazz drumming. Also, be sure to check out jazzdrumschool.com. If you're ready to take your jazz drumming to the next level, I encourage you to check out my lessons over there. I got lots of great content to help you become the jazz drummer you want to be. All right, keep swinging, my friend.